Start the recording.
It has started.
Okay. I'm Wayne Miller, board member.
Amy Rivera, board member.
Ted August, board member.
John Dimes, Fire Code.
Deborah Richardson, Boards Administration.
Oh,
Jason
excuse me.
Correa.
Anybody testifying in this hearing, please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth? Only one person? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Say, respond. You
Yes.
agree to tell
Yes.
the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, Jace, take away.
All right, this is BBS case number MI-2022-004631 for 2126 Cypress Street. For the record, can you state your name?
Yes, thank you. My name is Sean Narcombe from Peter Zimmerman Architects, and I'm the project architect. I have a very quick summary that I want to share. Before I do, just want to introduce the other team members that are here, who are, some of you may already know, the general contractor, Dixon Shea from Shea Construction, our code consultants, Pradeep Parekh and Ajay Prasad from Jensen Hughes, and Pradeep and Ajay assisted with the preparation of the variance support letter that was submitted with our appeal variance. We're also joined by one of our client's attorneys, John Ciriello from Cozen O'Connor. John's office has been assisting with the preparation of a legal easement for the two adjoining properties, 2126 Cypress and 2121 Delancey Place. So basically, we're here to seek approval for some window and door openings on an east party wall for 2126 Cypress Street by means of construction equivalency. The party wall is shared with a portion of the rear of 2121 Delancey property, which is also under construction for a new garage with a roof deck above for use at site. For the roof deck is the intended uses for the Cypress Street property. So our clients own both properties and are looking to provide a special use or access between the properties. As I mentioned, there's a legal easement agreement which will ensure that these openings will be closed up and made fire resistant if ever the easement agreement is extinguished. There are a couple technical aspects that are outlined in our summary letter, which are that there's a first floor party wall that's shared between the garages. Second floor and above is a 0-foot fire separation party wall. But there are a couple of aspects. So we're proposing a fully sprinklered NFPA 13 system for the 2126 Cypress property, which exceeds the minimum NFPA 13R type. There's also an aspect of the garage roof assembly, which we are providing a minimum 1-hour fire rated ceiling assembly. So with those two aspects and with the legal easement between the properties, our thinking is that you might also acknowledge these safeguards are consistent with code intent for safety. That is my summary. Thank you for your time. If you guys have any questions, we'll do our best to try to address them.
Would you like to walk us through the drawings?
Sure. I'm sorry. Yes, thank you. I'm going to share the screen here. I apologize. Thank you. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to start here at the ground floor. You can all see my cursor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
So this is the rear of 2121 Delancey Place. This is the new garage carport at the ground floor. Party wall is where my cursor is here. This property is under construction, renovation. That is 2126 Cypress. And so we're proposing access between the garages as well as access between the rear yards. At the second floor above, living space at 2126 Cypress with proposed access to a new garden roof deck above the carport. And then this elevation here is a section through the roof deck carport looking west towards the Cypress Street property. And here you can see these window openings here at the 4th floor, 3rd floor, 2nd floor. This is the proposed door access to the roof deck. And then of course, ground floor carport below that. Um,
Are you cutting them 2 doors in too?
Yes,
So is the intent that this building be a rental?
no, our client, actually, it's going to be their permanent residence when they're in Philadelphia. They're sort of using both properties together.
So there's nothing will be rented out. So the
No.
Delancey Street address will not be a rental.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, this is intended to be their primary home. It's a fairly small residence. They do like to entertain, and they actually purchased 2121 Delancey with the idea that, they're going to have offices over there and then be able to entertain guests there. But this is for their use and enjoyment. There are no plans to let it out.
And what's the thinking in not consolidating the properties?
That's a good question. I mean, we had discussed that with our client's attorney early on, and it seemed like this was probably what made the most sense for our client from a legal aspect. I'm sorry,
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sorry, I don't have a better answer. That was discussed with my client's counsel, and I think there was, good reason on their end. I apologize, I don't have a better answer for that, but
yeah, I mean, Jace, could this all be done as of right if this was one property?
Yes, I think you could. I think also the issue with this, Sean, are you the primary applicant for this application?
technically it was Shea Construction filed the Eclipse appeal, but
Okay.
I am the project architect.
So the original plans that were submitted before they drafted this refusal didn't show any of the penetrations on the first floor level. So those 2 doors that you showed weren't on the plan. So that wasn't even picked up in the refusal in the first place. So I looked at the plans that you even submitted for our
Right.
review for this hearing, and that doesn't even show the penetrations on the first floor level. So
Yeah, those 2 doors were just submitted as part of an amendment to the carport permit that was submitted just recently. So you're right on that set of the original amendment drawings. Those 2 doors were not on there.
That's correct.
So Jace, do they have to send that back to the plan examiner?
technically they're supposed to go back to the plan examiner, but it still results in the refusal because you still have openings within the party wall. So the refusal does cover it.
We also didn't have an opportunity to amend it because we were still, we had not an unresolved refusal. So there was no ability to include these 2, which is why we submitted them with the carport amended permit, if that makes sense.
And you said they own both properties, right? The owners?
Yes, it's a family, yes.
And to the point of making it all one property, I think the couple that owns these 2 properties, one of their sons currently lives at 2129 Delancey. Their other son lives out of town. And I think there was the thought that one day they may ultimately, their other son may occupy one of these 2 properties as a permanent residence in the future. And my recollection is there was some discussion that keeping them as separate properties would help enable that process if and when they decide to do that.
Hello, this is Pradeep from Jensen Hughes, and one of the approaches in the code that is applicable to the project is the exception for party wall having a rating or being required to be constructed as firewalls. So under the building code, under party wall section 706.1.1, which has been included in the memo, we cite the exception that effectively doesn't require consolidation. The code does recognize that by definition, a party wall is separating 2 individually owned properties, but an exception is in the code that says if these 2 property owners have come to an agreement, obviously the agreement has to be based on what the building department is willing to accept. But if they come to an agreement, they've effectively combined the properties from a fire safety and life safety perspective. That's effectively why the code includes that exception to not combine property rights and fire safety into the same requirement.
So what did they do for the deck in terms of zoning?
So I think someone from the project team can probably speak better to that. But the deck was approved as a non-accessory structure and is in the process or was granted a variance for the roof deck.
Right, so just to clarify, the great question, Jace, that was, the carport was approved. And it was approved through zoning, but the roof deck was refused through zoning.
Right,
We're appealing that with the zoning hearing board on August 16th.
okay,
But the carport was approved, and I believe well, I know the building permit for the carport was approved as well.
okay. So the roof deck shouldn't be shown on this because the zoning hasn't been previously approved, right? But you just want to know that's the whole idea of it then, right?
Yeah, the whole idea really is to be able to allow the operable windows and doors.
So how would they access that roof deck if they're just, oh, so that's a door that you're showing right there?
Correct.
Or is that a bigger one? Okay.
It's a sliding. It's a
Sliding.
where my cursor is here. Door. This is a sliding door, so that would be access to the roof deck at the second floor.
And the only way on or off that roof deck is through that sliding door. There's no exterior stairs
Correct.
into the yard.
Correct.
Do you have
Yeah,
a
this
floor
is-
plan showing the egress from the most remote point of the roof deck down to the exterior of the structure?
I'm sorry.
Do you have an egress plan showing how you get from the roof deck through the building?
Be this, yeah, it's a second floor plan.
That's
So you can
right.
see, you basically go through and then you go around and down now.
Go down. Okay.
That's right.
And this is used as a single family, right? You're not doing anything else?
That's correct.
This
So-
sets up potentially a real problematic situation. I mean, yes, it's one family that owns it currently. If hypothetically, each of their children were to own one of the structures, those, if a variance were granted, I mean, the easements would have to be, maintained. And it's something that down the road, if, one of them chose to sell their property or even,
Yeah, the roof deck would no longer be able to be occupied.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, but I'm, at that point, all of the wall openings would need to be
Yes,
closed
correct.
off.
Yes,
That's
that is-
correct.
And I would extend that to say, not just a ownership, but a rental. I mean, these properties one or the other property couldn't be rented out to an entity not part of the family. I mean, this takes a lot of vigilance down the road. And I mean, if this were unrelated ownership here, we would say absolutely no, you can't do this. So-
That is part of the reason why we came in, is that it is a family, but we understand your point, Ted, and that's, I would defer to John and Sean to talk about that part, the legal aspects of it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, the legal easement the easement agreement does outline the fact that if ever there's the easement is ever terminated for any reason, that all openings in that party wall need to be made, fire resistant, closed up essentially.
How about if you sold one of the buildings and the other building, where does the fire protection come in? Where does the sprinkler system come into what building?
2126 Cypress,
On 2126 Cypress.
correct.
Okay,
Yes,
so
so-
if they sold that 2121, what would you do with the sprinkler system then?
The sprinkler system would stay and still service 2126. What would happen is, and our client doesn't envision this ever happening in any of the conversations we've had, but if for whatever reason, hypothetically, they're ever broken apart and sold separately, they would remove all the windows and openings in the party wall and brick them up and make them fire resistant per code requirement.
The thing is that, my thing is that if they had that sprinkler system and they didn't own the one house where the sprinkler system was, the other tenant wouldn't have, or the owner wouldn't have access to the valve to shut the system off if something happened. If it was sold.
So hypothetically, would they, would transfer of ownership of 2126 also have to include 2121? I'm just saying hypothetically, if that's, that happened, then in order to keep the fire suppression for 2121 for that garage, does that have to go over to the other one? I don't know.
You have to have another feed. You can't go through somebody else's property to turn the system on and off.
So that is under the building code, that's a recognized approach. So the exception under the party wall provision specifically states that an easement has to grant each side access to the life safety systems. And so if the property is sold, then they would effectively, and then John and Sean, please correct me, but the people purchasing the property would have to abide by the conditions of the easement because it's part of the deed. And if they don't,
Does the easement say that they would bring a new feed in for 2121?
Yeah, so the easement provides that each parcel has access to the other for purposes of maintenance, repair, replacement. And so, at least that's generally contemplated.
Is the
How they get
construction,
along?
So you have a fire suppression system from 2126 feeding the
21.
the parking space, right?
We do not, no, it's just within 2126.
Oh, there's no sprinkler system in 21?
No,
it's an open parking garage. It only has a garage door on one side of
that's
the
right. It's a carport, so it's,
Oh, okay.
Then why are there so many doors between the two properties? Why are there two doors on the first floor? One to the,
this one is, connects the rear yards. So on the other side of this wall here is, a very small garden space for the rear of 2126. So this connects the rear yards, and this other door, connects the garage to the carport. If there's cars parked in, all spaces, it was, an idea for convenience to be able to, for our clients to be able to circulate between the two properties to go through the garden door, that connects the rear yards, if that makes sense.
So that's just connecting two outdoor spaces.
Correct.
Okay, so the only interior door is the door from the access door
garage
from-
to garage.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly right. Yes.
Okay.
So I don't know the current status of the easement, but is the easement currently worded that if there's a change in ownership of the property, these openings need to be closed? And in addition, if there is, if they lease one of the properties, the same thing happens? Because it sounds like that could be a potential concern, or so upon a lease or sale, or?
My memory, and I could be incorrect, I have to look. My memory is that the easement stipulates that if the easement agreement is ever terminated, then all these openings would be filled in and made code compliant.
That's correct. That's correct.
So if I'm renting one of the properties, you can easily walk into my garage or my backyard.
But hypothetically, again, our client doesn't plan to rent them. They plan to use
I know, but developers never plan. They always say they're going to live at the house they're building and they get what they want and they sell it. So
Okay.
we have to look at it that way.
Okay.
yeah, and right now the easement would be for the use of the carport and the use of the roof deck, presumably. So if you, I mean, is that hypothetically something that would continue if the property were sold?
I think if the property were sold, then that the access between the two has to go away. You don't get the roof deck access anymore. And you can't, there's no carport access into the house. So it's
And
a situation that nobody likes,
Yeah.
but that's the reality. Is like, wait, if we have to block, basically seal these openings off because now they're, because the ownership is transferred, then there's not, that roof deck will go, it's basically just a rated roof deck that's not occupied. Unless the owner of 2121 builds a new stair that goes down from that roof deck onto here. But that's, then that's kind of odd to have a roof deck that's next to another person's building. But, if you want to go use the bathroom or go get stuff from the kitchen, you have to go all the way across to the other house. So.
And just to add regarding the ownership, I don't know if Jace can elaborate on this, but L&I published an information sheet that allows party walls to be extinguished without changing property lines through a unity of use. And so it applies the code provisions that we are including in the scope of this variance appeal as well. So ownership is obviously an issue and it needs to be clarified, but requiring properties to be consolidated or not having properties consolidated is a recognized method by L&I. I don't know if that adds any more value to this approach.
Well, no, we understand that, and we've, see that quite often. But I guess if we were to grant a variance with a proviso, we would need to have the easement, an easement agreement that was sort of acceptable to us. So we would need to, read the fine print and understand how it addresses what might happen in the future.
Sean, do you have the easement?
I do.
And right now on that list, the two properties are listed as different owners. Are Delancey Properties LLC also the Bollingers?
Yeah.
Do you want me to open the easement agreement?
It's up to the board. They could probably take a look at it during their.
But before we do that, Jace, a question, Jace. Is there anything about what's now being proposed with the two, basically the difference between that and what was submitted is the two openings on the ground floor, am I correct?
Right, that's it.
So is there anything that by virtue of having those openings, that triggers any other kind of refusal other than just openings in a party wall?
It'll be egressing onto another property, but because of that exception for 70611, I think it's okay as long as they have the easement, as long as they have that easement saying that it's both the same property owner.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, just to clarify, so under the carport, they can get out without going through that door.
Right.
Okay, so I'll just before we get too far, and I understand, if the hazard of going and with basically terminating the easement is that now there's a house that has no windows on basically two sides. And so, that's, I think, something we should all recognize, like, hey, if for whatever reason they sold it and now you have two different properties and we have to seal up these openings, well, there's already, one wall doesn't have any openings in it. And basically it makes it so undesirable that I don't know if that would necessarily be something they would want to do.
But that's on East Center City row home. You don't have openings in your party walls.
Yeah, I understood. I mean, well, yeah, it's one thing to have row home. It's another to say, well, I don't have anything next to me. I have windows. If you're going to buy it, would you say, well, yeah, I'm fine with now having to go back and block up openings that I used to have or that the previous owner had. So it's one one thing to consider is that from a just practical standpoint, I don't know if I would, I would purchase that knowing that that was part of the agreement. So
Could the agreement, could it just require that any of the operable openings and those doors be closed up and that the other remain, because I believe they're actually rated windows as well. So you effectively have a rated enclosure that does have some non-operable openings. It has openings, actually. The existing building has openings to 2121, not operable, but they were there
So the windows are rated, they're using rated glass and
on that elevation.
No, we had, it was originally permitted with non-operable rated windows, but that's not what we want to do. Our client wants to be able to have the operable windows, which are not rated, which is part of the variance that we're seeing.
What I was suggesting is you could either replace, instead of having to brick off all the openings to that prior concern, you could put rated glass in non-operable openings and still have light transmission if
Right.
that's acceptable under the code.
Yeah, it's not purely rated glass. I believe it's rated assemblies.
Yeah,
Um,
that's right.
So,
Right.
but yeah, I mean, I believe Jace, correct me if I'm wrong, they could do that as of right. But they couldn't
I
be.
think it's
operable.
still considered an opening in a party wall.
yeah, they would have to do
Amy,
the
I-
fire resistance rated glazing, not the
Yeah.
fire protection rated glazing. So this have to be the E119 glass.
It looks like a window, but it's rated per the exposure requirements of a wall. So it has the robustness of a wall in
Yeah.
a fire event.
Oh, that'll be a little yellow.
And Amy, I heard your point earlier, and I know that you have to sort of decide this based on, obviously without necessarily taking these things into account, but this couple, they're in their late 60s, like they truly are going to be inhabiting these spaces. This is their home base moving forward. They have no intention of renting it out. I know you have to work around all the possibilities, but it truly is not a situation where I'm like working for a developer, trying to leave open a lot of options. Like they are sort of making this their primary residence among others. And because they have a son in the area, like this is their compound. And so the last thing they'd ever do is rent out one of the units while it's just not part of their calculus. So I know that's touchy and feely, but that's the God's honest truth. So.
Yeah, it's our concern is just what happens down the road when everybody's forgotten about all this.
Well, and if I may, from a legal perspective, if future sale or potential renting is a concern, that may be something we could go back to and discuss in if we continue this and go back to the easement to address those concerns, that's something we can discuss. I mean, obviously we need to circle up on that, but.
You mean, John, basically putting a limit on when a sale could happen?
Yeah, we'd have to
Or
talk
just
to the
determine,
mechanics of it, but right, if what I'm hearing is if the biggest concern is relating to, restrictions, because right now, right, if the easement's extinguished, right, you're closing up all the walls. If we need to try to address something about sales or renting in the easement, I'm just throwing it out there. If it's something that we need to go back and consider and come back, it's something that we can do.
Typically an easement is recorded with the deed. So when you're purchasing a property, you're seeing the limits of your use of that property. And so if a property sale does occur and they agree to the provisions of the easement, then I understand the concern with property sale, with change of ownership, but the provisions for, property safety and building safety would still stand. That doesn't immediately extinguish the easement. It goes with the property, just as easements for back alleys go between all and amongst all properties that agree to purchase a property that has a back alley. You can't block it because you don't want it and the next door neighbor uses it. Everyone has to maintain it because that's what they're agreeing to.
And so if I can kind of summarize, so from a notwithstanding the ownership and changing into a rental, just from a strict fire life safety perspective, is there any concern with, as it is like day one, with having the rated roof and the openings and you know, and maintain the wall? Is there, you know, this obviously the door to the carport has to be, you know, rated, but is there anything from that perspective that we would need to address on this? Or is this, are we looking more, you know, the bigger concern is the kind of the administrative and ownership part?
I think the latter. The bigger concern is the administrative and,
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
we don't have you own what's over me kind of
Yeah.
things happening typically.
Okay. All right.
All right, Jane, do we want to caucus?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we're gonna caucus. Deb, put them in the waiting room.
Okay,
I have a quick question. For the carport, are both sides open or is just one side?
Just the rear, So if you could still see my screen where I'm tracing my cursor,
Mhm.
this is open. This is, you know, a wall with the door that we see in the elevation. This is also a wall abutting the other neighbor's property. That is, you know, outdoor parking currently for that neighbor. So it's really just open on the back side here. There's an overhead garage door, roll-up door at the front on the sidewalk at Cypress. This is open at the back. You know, this is the 21-26 elevation, and then in the foreground behind you would be the neighboring, you know, there's a wall there dividing their parking from this.
So for it to be a carport, wouldn't both sides have to be open?
So it's a carport as defined by zoning, and it's a accessory private parking garage under the building code, precisely because of what you stated. Yeah.
Right.
So it's not considered a carport in terms of building though, right? It's considered a garage.
No. It's correct. It's been designed as a private parking garage.
So then
That's-
if you're extending from that residential into that garage, wouldn't you need to sprinkler that?
Not for
Along with-
residentials. Not for residential sprinklers.
Oh, is it 13R?
No, it's
It's a 13.
Yes, the building is only required to have a 13R system because it's a 4-story R3. So a 13R system. However, it's been designed as a 13 system to provide double the sprinkler density and a hose stream to attack any outside fire as well. And so it's effectively a more robust sprinkler system than required by code for the residents, which is the only part that's required to be sprinkled.
Are there bedrooms on the back of the Delancey Street property that, you know, rescue windows that would go down into this sort of terrace?
There is a kind of an office space at the second floor. It's sort of cut off here on the elevation at the
Okay.
second floor.
But nothing that would require, you know, an escape route that is being blocked off by the carport.
I
Yes.
don't believe so, no.
Okay.
So you have no pendants outside that wall to suppress anything in that garage then, right?
No, the garage, correct. There's no sprinkler systems because the code allows that if you have a firewall in a stepped building like this, if you rate the roof assembly, which we have to, the garage, the carport roof or the garage roof is 1 hour rated. It's not required to be, but it's 1 hour rated to simulate the fact that this is a stepped building with a common party wall. And so when you have a stepped building, you're effectively providing exposure protection from the inside by having a more robust sprinkler system, and exposure protection from the outside by making sure that any fire event that occurs in the carport is contained or protected for a minimum of 1 hour by the roof assembly.
Is the access door from the carport, is that 2 hour rated?
And that would have to be a rated door.
It would have to be rated, yes.
Yeah. Mhm.
Not to complicate things, but another option would be to make the carport and roof deck and the sort of the rear of the property part of the Cypress Street property, and have them just basically lease the one parking space back to Delancey Street. Then it would be fine forever. But again,
Yeah, but just to reiterate, the department has published documents that accepts a unity of use, which is
no, I know, we're fine with it
We know
as
that.
it's proposed to be used. My concern is in the future, when it does get sold and it's left open and somebody's parking their car and there's a car fire next door to all of these new windows that we're, permitting.
I'm completely understood. Yeah.
I mean, it's that kind of, there's a point where you lose control. And,
Yes.
we understand that's a long way
Yeah.
off, but
I appreciate the perspective. No, definitely.
Hey, you want to caucus?
Yeah.
Okay. Good, Deb.
Okay. Whoever's sharing their screen,
All right.
thank you. I don't know how, I forget how to do that. So I know there's a way to do that. Mr. Kelly, we're off the record now.
Yes, and if I could just take one quick second, there was someone who appeared on the screen with the name APRASAD. Could I ask who that was?
That was Ajay Prasad, AJAY is the first name and last name is Prasad, PRASAD.
Thank you, sir. All right, I'm going to mute now.
okay, now I think you have everybody off.
Who was Tobbs?
I don't,
Who was that name Tobbs?
wasn't he in here before? Because I
I don't know. They never
room.
said anything. They never raised their right hand and swore in or anything.
Everybody's supposed to mention their name on the record. So, all right.
Yes. Okay,
This
what do
is
we got?
interesting.
Yeah, I thought this was gonna be a lot easier. Yeah, technically, Pradeep is not supposed to be in there.
Why?
He's not allowed to do anything for a year with the city.
Oh,
Oh,
What's that?
That's his agreement when he left?
That's like, I think that's how, if any of us leave, we're not allowed to deal with the city for a
When
year.
did he leave?
oh,
Less than a year ago. I mean, I don't care. I'm just letting you guys know, giving
Yeah,
you
I
guys.
remember that George said that when he left.
right, yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
so I always remember George saying it's still an opening in a party wall. Like, it doesn't matter if it's rated glass. It doesn't matter. It's still an opening in a party wall and it's not allowed.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, that was based.
Back on the record. I apologize. Go ahead. The recording's.
I am ready.
okay, so what we want to get a dry sidewall head in the garage. We want the roof of the garage to be 1 hour rated. The one door from the garage, we want it to be 90 minutes. We want to confirm that the front windows have emergency egress, meet the code requirements. And for the proviso, if either house is sold, we want the openings on the party wall to be closed up or rated 2 hour assembly. And we want a sprinkler head over the center of each window.
Sorry, what, Wayne, is that in the sprinkler over the window? Is that for the current condition or when it gets sold?
The current
That's for the
condition.
current condition.
The current condition. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Thanks for clarifying.
And I think we would want the agreement to be submitted, for us to confirm that it meets the intent of the proviso.
Of course.
You guys get that all down?
I think so. You're looking for a dry sidewall head in the garage,
Yeah, yeah.
90 minutes for the door rating.
Yes, the one door.
Confirm that the front windows do in fact meet egress requirements, which they do. We'll confirm that.
Correct.
Everything is bricked up and brought to code if either house, either property is ever sold.
Yeah, closed up or a rated 2-hour assembly.
And then
Either or.
the last one, Sean, was a sprinkler at every currently shown glass, opening in the party wall.
Okay, and the easement agreement to be submitted.
Yeah, and if they're more than 6 foot wide for window opening, it would be, 2 heads.
2 heads for more than 6 feet wide.
Uh,
Did you have any questions, Dixon or AJ or Prashad?
I don't have any questions. This is the first time I've ever been in one of these. I just appreciate everybody's attention and obviously, concern and professionalism. Like this was it was an interesting eye-opening experience for me and I appreciate everybody's attention to it. So thanks.
Same. Thank you guys. I really, really do appreciate your time and consideration.
No problem. Good luck, guys.
Thanks very much.
Take it easy.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, everyone. Thank you.
I need 5.
Are we done with that
Need
case?
2
So I'm gonna
minutes.
pause the recording. Okay, we are now recording.
Okay. I'm Wayne Miller, board member.
Amy Rivera, board member.
Ed Agus, board member.
John Dimes, Fire Code.
Deborah Richardson, Boards Administration.
And Jay Scurria, Department of License and Inspections.
Okay, anybody going to testify in the case, please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Jace, go ahead.
Okay, this is BBS case number MI-2022-004038 for 1776 Benjamin Franklin Parkway. For the record, can you please state your name?
My name is James Pearlstein. Guy Ginhart.
Whoever's going to present the case, go ahead.
Okay, great. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate your time. Jace, thank you. I'll give you the context. My name is James Pearlstein. I own Pearl Properties. We are managing and owning and managing this property. Our entity is 1429 BFP, LLC. This property, as many of you may know, was built, I believe, in the 70s by the Corman family as a, it was called the Plaza Apartments, and it was built really beautiful condos at the time, actually, and a lot of empty nesters from outside the city came in. It was subsequently turned into a hotel, of which when we bought the property was a hotel. So if you can remember, the Embassy Suites was on this property. We had bought it about 2 years prior to COVID, and the hotel was doing really well. We had plans to change a lot of the retail because it wasn't activated. So we had some really awesome plans to activate the parkway by lowering the garage and putting openings in the area along the parkway to activate it. And we actually did do that, and we started a process of doing that, and then COVID hit. When COVID hit, the Embassy Suites was, although it was doing well, it was marketed to middle management, business travel, which was a problem. And unfortunately, we were put in a position right away that we had a failing hotel. We just couldn't survive by keeping it open. So by July 4th, after COVID in 2020, we closed the hotel and we immediately converted to an apartment building. In addition to the apartment building, we did create retail spaces. If anybody's been down there, the Victory Brewery is now open. Federal Donuts is now open. The garage is activated. And we've created an apartment building with 294 units, and it's full and it's crowded, and it's been really great. What we're here today to discuss is a discrete issue, I think, on a small amenity deck that we created as part of our program. When we converted the hotel, we took away the second floor offices of the hotel that was used for back of house. It was used for a small fitness center, sales office, things like that. It was all back of house. We converted that whole floor to amenity spaces. And in addition to the amenity spaces, above the porte cochere, which was already a roof, we opened that up as a roof deck, which we're here today to discuss. So you, Jace, if you want to let everybody know the issue, it's two exits of egress versus one. We can discuss it.
I could show up the plans, but the guy was
So
saying,
this is the roof over the carport, correct?
Correct. This was not new construction. We enhanced this roof both structurally and aesthetically for use to get out from that second floor. So, you know, at any given day, you can walk by and there's 5, 7 people just sitting there enjoying coffee or whatever they're doing. It's an ancillary use right inside of this area. We put glass doors there right inside of this area. We have a commercial kitchen, some communal tables, kind of like co-working space that our tenants enjoy. That's the use right now.
So the deck's already in use?
Yes. So this issue came to be when the inspector at the very end of our project thought, I'm not sure how it all happened, but said there's not a second means of egress, and that's what happened. So he said, you know, he sent this for us to go get a second means of egress. We got a permit refusal at that time, and we're subsequently here today regarding that.
Do you have the structure itself has a rating?
You want to answer that?
The structure is, the canopy itself is a steel frame. And it is supported down in the lower level garage. And we reinforce that. And then the structure itself for the deck is lumber.
And then obviously, then the building is obviously poured and place concrete, you know, deck all the way to the 25th floor.
I'm just concerned, it's a carport, so there would be cars under it. If there was a fire stemming from a car, how quickly does the deck go?
The portico share, I'll call it, that underside of the roof is fully sprinkled on a 3-axis system.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then from the exit standpoint, you know, there's one exit here and it goes right, as you can see in this file, I think we're all looking at the same thing, but as you can see, we created a stair and that takes you right down to the lobby, which is the exterior. You can walk right through another door, get to the exterior. And that entire space is sprinklered and it's all, you know, concrete, this building.
Okay. Dave?
Yeah, I'm fine with it. Just a quick question, Jace, would this be issued with an LO for 49 occupants? Is that?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if it was 29, you know, per 1006, they can get away with it, but with 49, they would need 2 exits. So it will be a proviso from the Board of Building Standards to proceed. And
I'm fine.
what we call it, the examiner will just place an LO of 49 on there.
Okay, Ann, you good with it?
I am. We talked to the fire department about how they could easily get somebody off that deck.
Don, tell us how you can get the people off the deck.
No, wait, I have a question though. Are there any gates in any of that railing system in an emergency situation that you're not jumping over a fence?
No, there are no gates. Keep in mind, this is a 24/7 building. So our lobby, which was directly next to the stairs, is occupied 24/7. So, and you know, the fire department obviously knows this building very well. You know, so in the case of emergency, we're right there.
Okay. Don, you all right with this?
Yep, I'm good.
Okay, I'm good too. Good luck, guys.
Okay, thank you guys very much. Have a good rest of the weekend. Okay,
All right.
Thank you so much.
thank you, Debbie.
Okay, you're welcome. Thanks for your patience. All right, off the record. Okay, Wayne.
Okay, I'm Wayne Miller, board member.
Amy Rivera, board member.
Ted Ives, board member.
John Dimes, Fire Code.
Deborah Richardson, Boards Administration.
Jay Scurria, Department of License and Inspections.
Anyone going to testify in this case, please raise your hand. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Respond.
Yes.
Okay, good deal. All right, Jace, take it away.
Okay, this is BBS case number MI-2022-004572 for 3001 Chestnut Street. For the record, can you please state your name?
We need everyone to state their name. for the
Everybody's
record.
name.
Anthony Egan.
Kyle Smith.
Takayamada.
Joseph Jira.
Got everybody?
Kyle Smith.
Anyone else?
And two gentlemen that are Conjahocken.
Yeah, that's Anthony Egan and Takayamada. I'm just on their.
Oh,
conference
you're
call.
together. Okay.
Okay, okay. All right.
Oh, there you go.
Sorry.
All righty.
Sorry about
very
that.
good. Sorry.
Okay, whoever's going to present the case, go ahead.
All right. Kyle, do you want to share your screen?
Do you want me
Yeah, Kyle, can you take over?
Yeah. Sure. Okay, so this is the Spark Therapeutics project at 3001 Chestnut Street. The, I guess, reason for this meeting is to get approval for standpipe locations on alternate or intermediate landings rather than the main floor landing. Do you see my team or my blue beam?
Your email came up.
Yeah.
Okay. Stop that. We'll do an entire screen. Okay. So this building is, I'll just go up to the beginning. So this is currently a parking lot on Drexel's campus, which will be leased to Spark and will become, roughly this building, 6-story pharmaceutical, both manufacturing, lab, and office. So here's just a flavor of the building. So the main lobby will be on Upper 30th Street. A parking level will be at Lower 30th Street. And then the building is kind of a little bit offset. So the level 1 will be slightly above the main lobby floor and proceed up from there, level 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then with a full floor penthouse on the upper level. Here is kind of a general floor plan. We have 4 stair towers basically in each corner. And then we also have a stair tower between the parking level on the bottom floor and the lobby level. So we can see that here in our newer plan. This stair goes between the lobby and down to the parking garage floor. So the purpose of this meeting is to request just up to here. So back when we originally had this, the layout of the building was a little bit different. And so we were looking for 3 of the 5 stairs, basically the ones on the south side, the 3 on the south side of the building. At this point, though, the stair between the parking garage and the lobby will not need intermediate standpipe locations based on the chases that we have in the building. So really, it will just be the stairs 1 and 5. So the requirement for this building, due to the height, is that we'll have a standpipe on every stair, and we're just looking for approval
from the building code that allows intermediate floor landings for those standpipe connections, and just in stairs 1 and 5.
You said something to the effect of our recently revised plans. Are they, or what you're showing us is what was submitted, correct?
Yeah, so this was the preliminary approval on the screen currently. That was what was submitted. Since then, one of the other items in this package was the fire command center location. And so we kind of fixed the lobby level to have direct access to the fire command center. You can kind of see a little bit of that here, but really I'll show, this is our updated lobby level plan. So we've got building egress here, which comes into a protected vestibule, and the fire command center is there. So this plan that I sent on for the 7/12 date is the most up-to-date lobby level.
Which is what was in the email that was sent over, Deborah.
Yeah, the location of the fire command center, that's approved by the fire department. So this was just strictly for just the standpipe location for the intermediate stair landing. So for that fire command location, you would need to talk to fire department to do that complete review.
Yep.
John,
So
have they
yeah. So
notified
this
you
is
guys at that?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm actually the person that does most of them.
Okay.
Yeah, they just submit that through Eclipse. Eclipse then puts us on our to-do list, and I'll pick it up off the to-do list once it's submitted. So if you blow that up, if you want me to take a quick look at it now, since I don't mind doing it. Where is it at? Okay, there it is. Where's your
so
entrance?
this is the fire command center here.
Is it 200 square feet with a minimum
entrance.
dimension of 10 feet?
Yes.
As a minimum dimension of at least 10 feet is 200 square feet. I see the elevators. The closest stair that goes to all levels of the building would be where?
Stair 1.
Stair 1
Okay,
right
there
here.
you go. And the travel distance from the main entrance to the fire tower? Approximately.
About 20, 30, 40, 40 feet.
Oh, no.
From the exterior.
Exterior door, yeah, that door, not the main entrance.
From the entrance,
From the main
main entrance.
entrance here,
Is that the main
or
entrance?
from the protected one?
The main entrance.
Yes. This
Lobby.
is the main entrance here.
So how many feet is that?
1 second.
Okay.
Just thinking. Processing right now. Just
Hey Kyle, I think you're kind of breaking up. I
There
don't
we
know if
go.
that's just on my end though.
Yeah, he's breaking up a little bit.
Okay, yeah. I'm trying to let the program load for the measurement tool.
It doesn't look like it's that far. It's going to be fine. Usually once it
Yeah, it
gets
should be
like
less than
over
100.
once it gets over 100 feet, we usually require a remote annunciator panel at the entrance or something. I don't think that's going to be the case.
So it's approximately 75 feet.
Yeah, 75.
Right. That's kind of what it was looking like. Okay. Yeah. So based on what I'm seeing, they're the things I'm going to look for, and it looks like you're going to be fine. But that's not an approval here. I'm just giving you some guidance while you're here.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Okay, with the standpipes, all right, does anyone have any questions or concerns about the standpipes, Ted or Amy?
Nope.
John, you're good with that, right?
That is correct. I'm good with it.
Okay, good luck, guys. You got your variance.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. No problem.
Have a good day.
All right.
Recording is back on and we're back on the record.
Okay, I'm Wayne Miller, board member.
Amy Rivera, board member.
Ted August, board member.
John Dimes, Fire Code.
Deborah Richardson, Boards Administration.
Jay Scurria, Department of License and Inspections.
Okay, Rich, you're gonna be testifying in the case. Can you please raise your right hand, swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, Jace, take it over.
All right, this is BBS case number MI-2022-004661 for 2145 North Front Street. For the record, can you please state your name?
Richard Villa.
All right, Richard, you want to present the case?
Sure. Do I need to share my screen or
Sure,
you guys?
go ahead. Yeah.
I got all the drawings up here. That should be fine. All right. There you go. Okay. Can you all see that?
Yes.
Okay. So this is Mickey's Gym from the movie Rocky. It is it's a full renovation. We're putting residential units in, and our denial is for 2 means of egress needed from the roof deck. We are showing, and it's a it's basically a roof deck for the tenants, and it's because I am reading the denial saying that the 4th floor, that the roof deck counts as a 4th floor, and we are here to ask for relief from that with the 1 means of egress.
Okay, why is it equally good or better construction is proposed? That's what you're saying. Can you tell us what that is?
I mean, it's a non-occupiable space, so it's not interior space, and we would be willing to do to sprinkle I know that we have a sprinkler going up to the top to the roof deck pilot house, but we could the owner's not on the line, but we could make the roof deck area smaller, like far smaller, and just basically be an occupiable roof deck.
Okay, but the thing is, if you have the roof deck, you need 2 forms of egress. That's the issue.
Yes, and I just can't make the second means work. I just can't have 2 stairs. I mean, I could put another door and another stair, but it would go down to the same stairway, essentially.
Jace, is there any size roof deck that would be allowed?
Not really. I mean, it's not very big to begin with, but it does exist in the plan. So we're looking for. Sorry.
What about an alternating, a scissor stair where you basically come in on the other side underneath the same stair?
I know, then it would lead down to we would have 2 stairs in the building all the way down. It's just it's a different, sort of a different building interior wise. We can do sorry.
Go, Rich.
I was gonna say, we've looked at and would be able to do exterior mounted sprinkler heads on the roof as well. But, in the event of a fire, we wouldn't even have if there was 2 stairs, we wouldn't have, what's it called, Jace? Separation, sorry, stair separation. It's just too small of a site. And the triangular shape just, I do a lot of these triangular shaped buildings. I think Jason has probably reviewed some of them. They're hard to make work with the 2 stairs.
Yeah, I mean, the 2 exits are only required for the roof deck level because you meet the travel distance on the 3rd floor level. So if you reduce the roof deck to a specific size, a scissor stair, that separation would comply. If you put an NFPA 13 system in it, it'll be a 1/3. But the thing is, then you got to beef out the whole exit enclosure throughout the whole building. That reduces your floor area throughout the building. So
yeah, it just becomes tough.
We're really consistent with, with the 4th floor, the 2 means of egress, and it's basically not for people to get out; it's for the firemen to get in, and that's a major concern for this board. I don't know of does anybody know of any other way?
Well, to Amy's point, you know, if where the stair is kind of running along that wall at the bottom, I mean, if that were a separation wall on the second and third floor, where you essentially you have a door in at either end. I mean, I'm thinking out loud here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is, I don't know if it's, you would almost, like you're saying, you would have to have a scissor stair for each of those. And then that starts to encroach into the rest of it. Yeah. Or conversely, if there was sort of a scissor stair at either end of that sort of space, like on the third, looking at the third floor, where you're kind of walking in and you either turn left and into one or right into the other.
Right. But they
Yeah,
can't
why-
be opposite each other.
Oh, wait,
Sorry.
sorry, I couldn't hear you.
No, why couldn't it be you walk in one end or you walk in the other? We might be willing to give the variance for exit remoteness, but you'd have two ways out.
So you're saying keep the pilot house as it is, extend the depth of the pilot house so that there are two doors into the pilot house that lead to the same stair.
Not to the same stair,
Oh,
to stairs that are
yeah.
over each other and independent of each other, but they're still over each other.
Yeah, I'd have to really talk to the client to see if he's willing to take that. It may not be worth the roof deck to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that's the best we can do right now. I don't know what else you could do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I, is there an opinion written, or can I respond to an opinion? I mean, like, not right now, I have to talk to my client.
Well, we can
The only
continue
thing
this.
We can do is deny the variance, and then, but you're hearing from the board that if you put them scissors in, we'll grant you the variance,
Yeah,
even
but if
though
I put the scissors in, I would meet the code.
No, we're saying you wouldn't meet the remoteness
Oh,
requirement.
bonus. Yeah, okay.
You won't meet that, so we'll give you a
Yeah.
variance on that.
Yeah, I'm just,
But I think you're right. You're saying you can't just have a single line of stairs.
Yeah, they have to.
You have to have side by side issue.
yeah. But I guess here, this is a very quick little sketch here. I mean, if you almost,
Great.
you're coming in and you're turning one way or the other, and you're kind of capturing the same width that you have on the third and second floor. I don't know if there's, right now you've got access to looks like a trash chute or something like that may, have to be rethought. And, when it gets down to the ground floor, obviously one of those is it's just gonna dump into the same, exit enclosure on the ground floor.
Like the
Unless on the ground floor you made it wider.
I'm gonna have to speak to, can I get a continuance?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you take a look at it and see, what you could come up with, but just knowing that the remoteness is less of an issue.
Right.
And is this NFPA 13 or 13R?
13.
It's 13, yeah, because you have the commercial on the ground floor.
Because a commercial, yeah.
The commercial there.
Yeah, and obviously, fortunately, you got a lot of space on the roof deck. So whatever, in order to make this work, you could reduce the roof deck somewhat at that, at that end, the bottom end.
All right.
Is north up on this or north-south? Which?
North is up. North
is up, okay. Yeah.
So Rich, our next hearing dates are August 11th and August 18th. So how much time do you need, unless you need to go into September?
No, I would go to the 11th. I mean, I'll talk to Travis, the owner, and we just may acquiesce and get rid of the roof deck. So.
Okay.
So August 11th is okay?
Sure.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to ask because they're only a week apart, so it's not.
Yeah.
But we
And
could do
you know,
either.
you are able to appeal to the Court of Common Pleas if you know, if we were to reject it, and you know, that is an option. Let me just,
That's a long bridge to go down.
Jace, if they decide not to do the roof deck, can they still have that single pilot house just for roof maintenance and access?
Yeah, I don't want to get a new zoning permit.
Rich, was anybody else attending with you today? A Victoria?
No, it was supposed to be Travis Seal or Rafi Lick, but I know Rafi couldn't make it, but Travis was supposed to, but
I have a
he didn't.
Victoria, Cuevas. No?
No, not that I know.
Okay. I don't know why she's in here, so.
Yeah.
Just asking.
Okay.
All right, so you
all right.
got a continuance.
All right, I appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.
All right, Rich.
Okay,
No problem.
thanks, Rich.
All right.
All right, let me bring this person in and see why she's here. Okay, we're off the record. So that was cases continued to the 11th.
You are